This is First Coast Math Clinic with Lesson 3, Graphing Linear Equations Using a Table from Unit 7, Graphing. So the goal in this video is to create graphs of linear equations on a coordinate plane by creating tables of values. Now there's a number of different ways to graph linear equations. The most basic method is by creating a table of values, and it comes in handy when we have an equation that may be a little bit difficult to graph, when we don't exactly have the slope or the y-intercept. So it kind of comes in handy to know how to create a table of values to graph our equation. So let's just go through this example and just go through a basic introduction in terms of like how we're going to graph. So let's say we have a series of points 1, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 7, right? So if we have these 3 points, right, we can plot 1, 1, 2, 4, 2 up, and then up 4, so over 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, then 3, 7 over 1, 2, 3, so x is 3, and up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then connect these points, and we get a line. So if we want to get a graph of a line, we need a minimum of 2 points. I think it's safe to have 3 points so we can tell if one of the points is inaccurate. But if we have at least 2 points, we can connect them and get the graph of a line. So what we're going to do is pick some values for our x value in our linear equation. So our linear equation is right here. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. So we've got an equation that has both x and y, because on our graph we know we have an x-axis and a y-axis. So we need to pick a variable for our x value, substitute it in, and then solve for y to get our ordered pair. So let's create our table and do this one together. So here's how we're going to organize this. I'm going to start by drawing out my table. And the x value is our independent variable. So we're going to choose values for our independent variable x. And we want to choose values that are pretty easy to work with. The easiest value to work with usually is going to be 0. So 0 is usually an easy choice. In this equation, this linear equation, I'm going to choose 0, 1, and 2. So 3 easy values to work with. The next column is going to be the equation negative 2x plus 3. Next column is going to be my y value. And the last column is going to be the ordered pair xy. So let's start with 0. So I'm going to take the x value 0, put it in for x in my equation. So I'll have negative 2 times 0 plus 3. Negative 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3. And that gives me 3. So y is 3. So my ordered pair is 0, 3. Now if x is 1, I'll have negative 2 times 1 plus 3. Again, all we're doing here is taking this value, putting it in for x, then taking that 1, putting it in for x. All right, and that's what we're doing here, doing the substitution. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 3, and that gives us 1. So now I'm going to have x is 1, y is 1. So I'm getting, or that's my x coordinate, and that's my y coordinate. All right, so that's where those values are coming from. And then x is 2, so I'm going to have negative 2 times 2 plus 3. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So my ordered pair here is going to be the x value is 2, the y value is negative 1. So now we've got 3 ordered pairs that we can graph, 0, 3. So x is 0, y is 3. So 0, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. X is 1, y is 1. x is 2, y is -1, so over 2, down 1. And this is going to be our line. So this is the graph of our equation. All right, let's do another example. So number 1 here, we've got y equals 3x minus 4. So we've got to choose values for our independent variable x, substitute them in, and solve for y. So setting this up, first column is going to be x. So I'm going to start with 0. 3x minus 4 in my next column. So I'm going to have 3 times 0 minus 4. 3 times 0 is 0, minus 4. 0 minus 4 is -4. Next column is y. Well, we just solved for y, that's -4. So my ordered pair, xy, is going to be 0, -4. Then I want to choose some really easy values for x. I'm choosing whatever values I want to choose for x. So I'm going to pick some easy values to work with. I chose 0. Let me choose 1. So 1's another easy value to work with. So 3 times 1 minus 4. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 4 gives me -1. So y is -1. Just remember, whatever we solve here, all right, that's going to be equal to y, and that's what we get here. So our ordered pair is going to be 1, -1. So I'll do 0, 1, and then I'll do 2. So 3 times 2 minus 4. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 4 is 2. So we'll get 2 and 2. So we've got our 3 ordered pairs, 0, -4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, -1, so go over 1 and down 1. And then 2, 2. So I'm going to go to the right 2, x is 2. Or this is our x-axis. So to the right 2 and then up 2. And this is our line now. So this is the graph of our line. So let's do an example of an equation where we have a fraction. So number 2, we've got y equals 1/2 x plus 1. So we're going to use the same method for our table. We're going to choose our values for x. We'll have 1/2 x plus 1. Of y, and then the ordered pair xy. So 0 is still a good choice here because we could do 1/2 times 0 plus 1. 1/2 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. So that's our y value. So we get 0, 1. All right, well, think about what happens if we choose 1 next, right? I'm going to have 1/2 times 1 plus 1. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2 plus 1. And now I'm adding a half plus 1. I'm going to be dealing with fractions and decimals. I really don't want to do that. So I've got to think, okay, what can I multiply by 1/2 that'll cancel out so I won't have any fractions or decimals? What number can I take a half of that'll give me a whole number, right? So what can I choose for x? I can choose whatever value I want. So a good choice here would be maybe an even number, right? So let's choose 2. Because if I choose 2, I could take half of 2 and get another whole number. Half of 2 is 1 plus 1 gives me 2. So instead of dealing with a fraction or a decimal, I'm dealing with a whole number. Let me clean this up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read. So 1/2 times our x value, which we chose 2. So we said 1/2 times 2 gives me 2 over 2 plus 1. I'm just going to do the math out quick here, just so everyone sees what we're doing. Half of 2 over 2 is 1 plus 1, which gives me 2, which is the answer we got here. Okay? So let's think. We want one other value. What would another good value be, right? So if we choose 3 and do 1/2 times 3 plus 1, then I'd have 3 over 2 plus 1, which would give me another decimal. So I really don't want to do that. So another good choice instead of 3 would be a value I could take half of, so it would be 4. So let's do 1/2 times 4 plus 1. 1/2 of 4 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So our ordered pair is going to be 4, 3. Now we can plot our points. 0, 1. X is 0, y is 1. 2, 2. 4, 3. So 2, 2, I'm going x is 2, y is 2, over 2, up 2. X is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, y is 3, up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then graph our points and connect them. And that's our line. Okay, let's do one more example where we have another fraction that we have to account for. So number 3, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So we're choosing values for x. Negative 2/3 times x plus 4. Then we're going to have y and xy. So again, 0 is a good choice because we could do negative 2/3 times 0 plus 4. All right, negative 2/3 times 0 is just 0 plus 4. 0 plus 4 is going to give us just 4. So I get 0, 4. So x is 0, y is 4. And then what would another good choice be for x? Right now, if I chose 2, like in the previous example, think about what would happen. I would have negative 2/3 times 2, which would give me, I'll put the plus 4 in here, which would give me negative 4/3 plus 4. So when I do that, I'm getting a more complex fraction here, which I don't want. I want something that's going to cancel out with this 3 in the denominator. So what value can I choose for x? Instead of choosing 2, I want something that's going to divide out with that 3. So a good choice would just be 3. So if I multiply this out, I'm going to do the math out and then erase just so I have enough room, right? Multiplying straight across, negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, plus 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So my y value here should be 2. So my ordered pair should be 3 and 2. So this is going to give us negative 2 plus 4, which is 2. So I'm just going to rewrite that up here. And just so we have enough room, I'm going to erase this. All right, we want one more value. So we know we're going to multiply negative 2/3 times some value plus 4. So what would another good choice be for x? So we chose 0, 3. We want something else that we could divide by 3. So 6 would be another good choice, right? We don't want 4, we don't want 5, because 4 and 5 are not divisible by 3. They're just going to give us another decimal that we have to work with, which we don't want. So let's multiply this out. We'll do the math over here so you guys can see. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. 3 times 1 is 3. plus 4. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4 plus 4, and we get 0. So our ordered pair is going to be 6, 0. And if you guys notice, we can kind of see a little bit of a pattern here, right? 0, 3, 6. So we're adding plus 3, 4, 2, 0, minus 2, minus 2, right? So let's graph these points, and we'll get to that pattern in a couple videos. Let's graph these points. We got 0, 4, so x is 0, y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 0, 4. 3, 2, x is 3, y is 2. 1, 1, 2, 3, and up to 1, 2. X is 6, y is 0. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 0. Now let's connect these points. And that's our line. Okay. So 2 points is enough to graph a line, but we usually like at least 3, because if we do 2, we won't be able to tell if we made a mistake. 3 will usually tell us if we made a mistake. If we have 2 points here and then a third one like kind of up here, right? We know that we made a mistake somewhere. Okay. All right. So this lesson was lesson 3 from Unit 7, graphing linear equations using a table. Again, there are a lot of different ways to graph linear equations, but being able to graph linear equations using a table, choosing values, x values for your equation. In particular, the last 2 examples, example 2 and 3, are pretty important that you guys understand what we did, like picking specific x values, so we didn't have to deal with more complex decimals. Like 0, 3, and 6 was a pretty important skill that I hope you guys understood. I'll be doing more examples like that, so just stay tuned. Again, if you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. First Coast Math Clinic.